Good evening, members, and good evening, and welcome to the members of the public. Oh, now we're going to have to declare an interest. I didn't realise that. Welcome to our meeting this evening, and can I welcome those watching on YouTube, please, as well. We'll start with apologies. I have apologies for absence from Councillor Abbott, Councillor Mrs Beavers and Councillor Mann. No substitutes have been arranged for any of the three of them, so that's why we have the gaps this evening. Item 2, declarations of interest. Before I go around the room and ask for if you have any, the existence and nature of any disclosable pecuniary interest, other pecuniary interest or non-pecuniary interest relating to items on the agenda, having regard to the Code of Conduct for members, I will declare on behalf of, I think the majority of us will know, we have in the audience with us this evening, I don't know if he's speaking or not, Mr Adam Davies, who used to work at this authority, so quite a few of us do know him. So I'll do joint declarations for those of us that did know him, and Councillor Mrs Sperry.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll declare a non-pecuniary interest in item 5A, Abbeyfield House, The Chase, Kelvedon. I've had several telephone conversations and exchanges of emails with the applicant, but purely about the process of getting this application to committee. I have not expressed any intentions with regard to the application, so I will remain and vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No. Can't see the list. Item 3. I have the minutes of the 18th of October. Is it your wish that I sign them as a true record? If so, could someone move them, please? Thank you. Are you seconding, Councillor Johnson? Yes, sir. Thank you very much. All those in favour that I sign them as a true record? Thank you. Brings us on to item 4, public question time. We have no general questions. Those people wishing to speak prior to the application, before, after, when we come to it. So that brings us neatly on to item 5, planning applications. The first application is 5A. This is application 21004614, full Abbeyfield House, The Chase, Kelvedon. Can be found on pages 6 to 39. And I do have one speaker on this item. And can I invite Mr Adam Daly to the table to make his statement? Mr Daly, I remind you, you have 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
My name is Adam Daly. I'm the Managing Director of Glenavon Care. We, as a company, have been in the care industry for some 10 years now, providing person-centred care in people's own homes throughout the Mid-Essex area. As a company, it is our intention to extend this model of care to the residential care market, where we believe it's greatly needed. We believe that small purpose-built nursing homes are the way forward, that provide a quality of care for the elderly that large institutional 60-plus bedroom homes cannot match. The proposed development is right in the centre of community life and will add value to the community where it stands. The existing care home was built in 1981 and needs a complete modernisation and refurbishment to comply with CQC standards, while still creating a building that complements the site that it occupies. We have worked closely with your planning officers and believe that this final scheme proposal successfully satisfies both parties' requirements. We recognise that there have been some concerns over staff parking spilling over to the parish council car park, but would like to assure you that this is not a major issue. Our company already operates an existing privately run shuttle service that takes care staff where they need to go. It is our intention to simply extend this service to the new nursing home staff, therefore negating the need for staff to use cars to get to work. It is also our intention to recruit locally within the community where the home stands, and Kelvedon has good rail links which can be utilised by care staff where necessary. In terms of accessibility, we recognise that the Chase, which is the existing access road to the proposed scheme, is somewhat narrow, and we will work with the contractors to ensure that there is little disturbance to the residents of the Chase during the build process. We will also maintain a continuous dialogue with the parish council to minimise any disruption caused by limiting times of the construction works, thus reducing the impact of the build on the local community. To be specific, we will restrict construction work to set hours within the day to ensure what does not start too early or finish too late. A construction management plan will be provided, and weekend construction will also be prohibited. The Chase will be photographed before construction begins and after it ends. Any damage caused will be made good. We would like to take this opportunity to remind the committee that this is an existing care facility that has remained empty for some considerable time now, I believe 6 years. Our scheme, once approved, will provide a necessary service and a community enrichment. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Mr. Daly. You've obviously timed that yourself quite well. Thank you. We have no one else wishing to make a statement on this application, so we'll now go to the presentation, which is going to be made by Lisa. Good evening, and thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good evening, members. This is a full application for the remodelling of the existing care home to provide a 22-bed nursing home, together with associated access, car parking and landscaping, and the site is Abbeyfield House, the Chase, Kelvedon. Here's the location plan, the site edged in red. You can see it's just behind the High Street. Access is via the Chase and then extends along here to the existing care home. The existing care home, as we've heard, is vacant and provides 10 beds with a caretaker flat. The site lies adjacent to the Kelvedon recreational ground here, and the site lies within the conservation area. Looking at the existing site plan, again you can see the access via the Chase alongside the social club building. Parking and turning is provided in the front, and the existing building is this U-shaped building here. Existing trees lie around the site and on this adjacent recreational ground. Looking at the existing ground and first floor, we can see it's a single-storey building, so all of the accommodation for the existing vacant care home is at ground floor, and as we've heard, the sizes do not comply with existing standards, and then the first floor contains that caretaker's flat. Existing elevations here, you can see the single-storey nature of it with this one area of two-storey, brick built with a concrete tiled roof. So turning to the proposed site plan, the existing access remains as per existing. Parking and turning is provided at the front. We've got 9 parking spaces here, a detached refuse and cycle store, and then as we've heard, the building is extended and altered to infill the existing U-shape to create this sort of square formation. And the gardens have some formal and informal paths and seating area, and the existing landscape is retained. Looking at the ground floor plan now, we can see that the bedroom accommodation all faces out onto that landscaped edge, and the communal spaces are also sited to make good use of that outlook. The first floor plan follows a similar approach, with those bedrooms looking out onto the landscaped gardens, and again the first floor living sort of lounge area faces out into the landscaping and that adjacent recreational land. Looking at the elevations here, as we've heard, officers have engaged in lengthy discussions with the agents regarding the design. The design now is well presented, it's well proportioned and has a symmetrical approach. In terms of materials, it would be render with a slate roof. The detached bin and cycle stores we've heard is sited discreetly here to the this corner. Again, similar approach in terms of render and slate materials. Just some photographs here. So this photo is taken from the High Street, looking at that entrance into the Chase. So you can see sort of the width of the access here and the adjacent sort of allocated sort of footpath area there. And this approach extends as you sort of enter and move forward through the Chase towards the site. So again, the access road and that sort of pedestrian sort of allocated footpath area. And again, just at the top end of the Chase here, so there's that social building and the car parking behind, and then it turns as here where my cursor is. And now this is looking down into that access road to the recreational ground onto your left. Here is a view taking across the recreational ground, so you can see that last building in the Chase, and then how the building here, so you can just see that first floor nature of the existing building. And again, just another one of the building here on the side. This fencing shows the boundary edge, and this tree here where my cursor is, and this one are two poor quality apple trees that are due to be removed. Now there is a member update to you this evening in terms of some of the conditions. So condition 3, which relates to materials of construction, we're proposing to change the trigger to a no above ground construction works to begin, commence until the materials have been agreed. And again, a similar change to condition 4 relating to means of enclosure. So a change to the trigger for it to now be prior to installation of such means of enclosure. Also an update in regards to condition 6, which relates to archaeology. So again, this is a 3-part condition. We're seeking to change the wording to condition, the second part, which just requires the programme of archaeological investigation identified in that written scheme of investigation to be undertaken in accordance with the approved programme. So again, a slight change there to the trigger. The final member update this evening is in regards to the heads of term. So as you'll see in the committee report, it's recommended that there would be a legal agreement to secure provision for NHS contribution. We've had comments back recently from the NHS. They've reassessed the application, looking at the actual net increase on the bedrooms rather than looking at it as a complete rebuild, and they've confirmed that no contribution is now required given the scale of the development. So officers are now seeking to remove the proposed heads of term, so no legal agreement is required. In terms of the summary and the planning balance, the benefits associated with the development are that the development would be in accordance with the development plan. It would provide the delivery of additional market housing. The site is considered to be a sustainable location within this key service village. There's convenient access to public transport. Social benefits associated with the provision of this purpose-built additional care home, and economic benefits during the construction and thereafter with spending powers of staff and visitors, and to a small degree future occupiers. The adverse impact identified is relating to parking, potential shortfall of parking on site. However, officers, as you'll read it within the committee report, consider that because the site is well served by public transport, it would enable staff and visitors to access the site by means other than the private vehicle. In addition, cycle parking is provided, and a public pay and display car park is within 200 metres distance on the high street. So therefore, the planning balance, officers conclude that the proposal complies with the development plan when taken as a whole. When considering the planning balance and having regard to the adverse impacts and benefits outlined, officers conclude that the adverse impacts of granting permission do not significantly and demonstrably outweigh the benefits when assessed against the policies in the framework taken as a whole. And our recommendation this evening to you members is that planning permission be granted subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Members. Councillor Mrs. Spray.
Thank you, Chairman. I think this is a very acceptable application. I know that there have been quite a lot of discussions and to and fro between officers and the applicant and the agent, but the end result, I think, is, as it says in the report, a high quality building. There is a need for it, and I think it's good that it's going to be refreshed and brought back into use. Yes, the access, I've been down the Chase a few times. It's not the widest or the best, but I'm pleased to hear in the applicant's statement that they'll be running a shuttle bus for staff, and hopefully will be recruiting locally, which means that, you know, there's a strong possibility that some staff will be able to walk or cycle to work, which will help. But I think that the shuttle bus is a really good idea. Yeah, it's high quality. I think it's, you know, an asset to the whole area, not just locally, but to the district. And I really have nothing more to add. I'm very happy to move officers' recommendation for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mrs. Spray. Does it find a seconder before I move on? Councillor Spray. And did you wish to speak, Councillor Spray?
Yes, I'll second, and I do wish to speak. I'd just like to back up the comments made by Councillor Spray about the design. I think the The advantage of having that pre-application meetings was very good in the fact that it's brought out this good design for this area, and very much welcome the refurbishment of a facility that's going to provide services for people that's going to be absolutely vital going forward. And as we well know from a data point of view, we have got an ageing population across the district, so I do welcome this facility that will offer very modern facilities to help care for those that need it at this place. Also, the fact that it's actually in the centre of Kelvedon, so that it's actually walkable and offers those transport, not of just those that are working there, but those that are visiting can also take advantage of the sustainable travel, plus those that are actually there in care have also got that facility to go out and join in the community locally. And I think all of those are vital ingredients in this. So I welcome that whole pre-app process, but overall I think this is very good. I also welcome the fact that the owners tonight mentioned about their cooperation with the parish council with the car park issues, and welcome the bin store and cycle store as well. I think that's really good, and I'm quite happy about updating the conditions 3, 4 and 6 as mentioned by the officers. My only question is I would like to see as a condition, if it's because I haven't seen it and I may have missed it, but a couple of EV charging points for vehicles that are going to be there for future proofing it. And also I'd just like to know, I presume the insulation level there would be sufficient to keep noise to a thing, but I think overall the landscape scheme is also appropriate, and I'm quite happy to second it. I think overall it's a good scheme and good design in the right place for the right cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Swear. Did you wish to come back on the parking, on the charges or not?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Happy to add a strategy for EVC, if that suits.
Okay. Anyone else wish to add anything new further? No. Well, it has been moved and seconded that we grant this application with a change of condition 3, 4 and 6 and the removal of the heads of terms regarding the National Health Service and installation of a bit of the charging points. All those in favour? Thank you, members. That is unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for attending. Thank you. That brings us to our next application, which is application 5B, which is application 21, 03475 from Blix's Farm, Ranks Green Road, Fairsted. This can be found on pages 40 to 60. I do not have any speakers on this application, so we'll go straight to the presentation, which is going to be made by Lisa. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This is a full planning application for a proposed extension to the abattoir with associated works at Blix's Farm, Ranks Green Road in Fairsted. Here is just an aerial photograph, really just to orientate the site in relation to the countryside. So this site here is outlined in green, so it is a countryside location. You can see Great Leys here to the west and White Knot Lee to the east. So just looking at the aerial photograph a bit more here, we can see that the site, which again here is shown in green, lies to the south of Ranks Green Road, lies within an established commercial use. Generally, otherwise, the adjacent land is in agricultural use. Here, another location plan here. So the actual application site this is the Red Edge application site. The adjacent land lies within the blue. We can see the existing access of Ranks Green Road. Existing parking here, visitor and staff parking, and existing hard standing here, which we can see here. If we just click back there, there's the staff and visitor parking and existing hard standing. The two yellow buildings are listed buildings. So just looking here at the existing site layouts, there are some proposed demolition. So demolition here of existing sort of extensions to the building and some outbuildings and structures here, as we can see. Officers are supportive of the removal of these extensions because they improve the visual amenity of the site. In terms of the proposed site plan, as we see, the extension here is this black sort of dark grey area. It creates 1,190 square metres of floor space and also proposes this HGV loading docking area. We can see a dashed green line here, that is proposed fencing required as a means of security. The gas tanks and radio tower, which we can see here, are to remain. Again, on here you can see the existing staff and visitor parking, which is to be more formalised. I've added here a comparison between an extant permission. So extant permission here on the left-hand side was granted in 2020 for an extension to the building and a similar HGV docking bay. That remains extant but has not been implemented. If you could just compare that now with the proposed site here, so similar amount of floor space is created and a similar layout in terms of that HGV docking loading area. And the reason for that change really is just to accommodate the needs of the business. So a floor plan here really just showing how that proposed extension floor plan relates to the existing, and some existing elevations here. So singles, you can sort of see the materials: brick, concrete, and some steel sheeting. Looking at the proposed elevations, these will be steel frame buildings. The walls will be clad in composite panels, so white colour at ground floor and a darker at the first floor. The roof will be clad in this lighter grey material. In terms of the appearance, officers are content that it would be typical of a commercial style unit and would be in keeping with the existing farmstead. The application has also been submitted with the proposed traffic management scheme. So here we can see the existing staff and visitor parking. No change really to the siting of that. And here would be the HGV area and parking area, parking movements. This plan also shows that existing dash fencing and some proposed landscaping here, which we've proposed to add a condition on to secure. In terms of the access remains the same, so it would still be off Ranks Green Road as per the previous extant permission. Essex County Council, as the Highway Authority, have no objections, do not consider that the proposal would lead to significant increase in traffic movements. So just some photographs here. This is a view of the existing rear of the existing abattoir building. So these are the structures here where my cursor is hovering, that would be removed, and the extension would come off the rear here. Just another view now, so sort of standing where the extension would be, looking east. So these are the structures to come down, this building to be removed. You can just sort of catch a glimpse here to the right-hand side of the existing parking, staff and visitor parking spaces. Another view sort of standing further back here within the site, looking back to the rear of the existing buildings. So here are the existing radio tower and the gas tanks are to remain. And again, just another view really showing sort of that sort of looking more to the west now. So the existing structures to be removed and extensions sort of coming off in this existing hard standing. Another update to you members this evening in terms of condition 6. So we're looking to alter the existing condition 6 relating to lighting. The applicant has made it quite clear within the submission that no additional lighting will be proposed to the site, but officers are seeking to impose this in case once development commences, lighting is proposed. So you'll see it's fairly standard to our, fairly similar to our standard lighting condition, just requiring details of the siting and design, including lighting design for biodiversity prior to the installation of any lighting at the site. We are also seeking to add a new condition this evening relating to hard and soft landscaping. So again, fairly standard in terms of the wording, requiring details of boundary treatments, and that's really relating to that new security fencing that's proposed to be erected, and details of sort of planting, that screen planting we saw on the traffic management scheme, and together with details of hard standing. So we're looking to impose that additional condition. Turning to the planning balance, officers consider there are no adverse impacts to the development. In terms of benefits, there would be the expansion of the existing local business, economic benefits in regard to supporting this rural business, and the development would result in an improved design and layout for the existing facility. In regard to the overall planning balance, officers consider that having regard to the adverse impacts and benefits and the requirements of the MPPF as a whole, that the benefits do outweigh any harms. So our recommendation this evening is that planning permission be granted, subject to the Section 106 legal agreement, to secure financial contribution towards open space. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Anders. Councillor Mrs. Parker.
Okay, well, this is obviously a very straightforward application. It fits in with the policy of supporting existing businesses and expansion of existing businesses. I think the buildings are going to be very suitable for the type of existing agricultural buildings that are there. I'm pleased to see that there's going to be some planting around the fencing, which I think will improve the overall appearance. We don't have any objections, and I think it's happy to support the officer's recommendation, happy to move the officer's recommendation to approve this application.
Thank you, Councillor. That includes the condition 6 and the additional condition of hard and soft landscaping, yes?
Yes, thank you.
Does it find a seconder? Councillor Shriya, did you wish to speak?
Very briefly, thank you, Madam. Agree with the comments by Councillor Parker, but I think what's really important here, apart from all of the design aspects, and they mentioned the condition 6, but it is a commercial use. I actually think as a rural business, this change in buildings is completely appropriate to help future-proof this business to remain here, because actually in this part of Essex we have very few of these facilities actually serving agriculture and our livestock and our poultry industry as well. So I think this is really good that this has come forward, that it's actually probably going to lead to health and safety benefits to the whole process as well, help contain the noise and increase safety. So with all of that, I'm very happy to second. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to add anything new or further? We're all very quiet this evening. But it has been moved and seconded that we grant this application with the additional condition 6 on the lighting and the additional condition regarding hard and soft landscaping. And so I put that to the vote. All those in favour? That is also unanimous. Thank you very much, members. Well, I think this brings us to the end of our planning meeting. I think it's the quickest one we've had for a very, very long time. But I have just been warned that in December we have 2 very lengthy ones, so be prepared. And I will close the meeting at, depending which clock I look at, probably 8:43. 8:42. Thank you very much indeed. 7:40.